It's hard to believe, but it's only a little bit of a week, and we will be celebrating Christmas. I not only know that by the calendar, but a walk through the mall tells me that that's the truth. People are running around frantically, they're anxious, and they're filled with all kinds of good things. But it is important to remember that Christmas is more than gift giving, visiting families, preparing meals, and loving one another. It is about God loving us. God loving us. We believe that the most important thing about Christmas is not about what we do or we should do, but about what God has done, continues to do, and will do. In other words, we believe in the incarnation. The truth of our faith tells us that God took on human nature, that God became one of us, that God entered our messy world. The scriptures remind us of that reality. Remember in the first reading, Isaiah told us God is coming to save us. The letter of John told us the Lord is near. And in Matthew's gospel, we see John the Baptist presented as the one who is preparing the way of the Lord. The scriptures see the action of God as primary, and that action is certainly at the heart of our religious Christmas. That God is entering, God is acting, not only in the past, but more importantly, that recognition of God acting and living in the present with us. So the message of Advent is clear. Christ is coming. And if Christ is coming to us. So how do we respond to this news that Christ is coming to us? Work with me here a little bit. What if you were to receive a text message from Jesus that says, I'm on my way. I'll be at your house about 8 o'clock tonight. What would you do? Really do? I imagine at first we might ask the question that John the Baptist asked. Are you the one who is to come, or should we look for another? Are you kidding me? But after, I imagine most of us would prepare for Jesus' arrival as we would for any other guest. We would make sure that our house was in order, especially our rooms that we're going to be receiving our guests. We would not want Jesus to come in and see clothes lying on the floor and dirty dishes in the sink, dust all over our tables, animal hair on our couches. We would rush around trying to clean up the mess. And if you're like me, you might have in your house a closet that is very helpful when guests arrive. I hit a button there, didn't I? We have that closet. It's very helpful because it's a closet in which we can hide the mess, in which we can throw all the old magazines and junk lying around and then close the door. Then, when your guest arrives, everything is neat and orderly. The last thing you want your guest to see is the junk you have hidden in the closet. But Jesus is not an ordinary guest. Jesus is not coming to see our clean house and orderly lives. He's not coming to see that you've made everything look good. Jesus, unlike other guests, is coming for the mess. He's coming for the mess. This becomes clear in today's gospel as Jesus describes his ministry to the disciples of John. He says that he is about making the blind see, the lame walk, the lepers clean. In other words, Jesus is all about restoration. Jesus has come to restore creation, undoing the effects of Adam's fall. He is reconnecting people with God. That description of John in what Jesus was doing is so important if we connect it with the sin of Adam, because God didn't originally make people blind, didn't make people deaf. He didn't make people walk, unable to walk. He didn't make them lepers. Sin, in many ways, caused so much disruption in the world. And so figuratively, what we're hearing in this is that God comes to restore what was lost through the fall of Adam. So Jesus is not coming for the neat and orderly. Jesus is coming for the wounded and the broken. When Jesus comes into our life, he is interested in the mess. He wants to see what we have in our closet, because his mission is to fix, to restore, and to heal. If this is the reason that Jesus is coming to us, we should not be afraid to show him the brokenness of our lives. He knows it already. Our role as a host or hostess is to show him our grief and our anger, our loneliness and our loss. We need to pull up a chair, really, and sit across from Jesus, maybe a cup of coffee or a cold beer, and tell him where it hurts. If you are worried about the future, your employment, your health, your anxieties, your challenges, your loneliness, your struggles with addiction, in that conversation, tell the Lord. It is only when we show Jesus our fear, our selfishness, our prejudice, that he is able to change us. Today's second reading from James is clear and confident. The coming of Christ is at hand. Since Christ is coming, we should be ready to welcome him, not by hiding our hurts and pains and weaknesses in the closet, not by covering our brokenness, but by exposing it to Christ's love so it can be restored. Christ's love is what he comes to offer us. So I invite us in this last couple weeks of Advent to take some time, to waste some time, if you wish, with Jesus. Sit in silence. Just look at the Lord and look at him with his loving eyes, looking back at you, filled with forgiveness and understanding. He is a God who wants to give a gift at Advent of acceptance and unconditional love. The Lord is near. Slow down and spend some time with him. He is here.